guys. So we got a train furnace, and the reason I'm here is to replace the blower motor in it. And this unit's 16 years old. It is not under warranty, but somewhere along the way, the complaint was the noise it makes. It's louder than it used to be. Somewhere along the way, somebody stuck a 3/4 horsepower motor in this furnace, and it's that big rescue motor. That thing's huge. You see how it sits back there right inside that return. There's one on each side, but they can hear it humming when it runs in the rooms. And the motor that came in this furnace was a 1/3 horsepower. So we're going to get this thing out and swap it out. I've got the OEM motor there. So we're going to get all this out and swap that motor. Alright, so we've got the housing and the assembly out. So, let's see. Should be pretty straightforward. I don't know how a 3/4. You pull out a 1/3 horsepower motor and put a 3/4 motor in. I don't know how that happens. But it is what it is. You gotta read your data plates. Read your data plates and be familiar with, especially motors. Outdoor unit. Put in the wrong RPM. Take out a 1075 and put in an 875 or 825. We have high head pressure. Obviously, with blower motors, you want to use the right voltage or you're going to have a problem. You got to check the horsepower, because if I'm not mistaken, this motor is 8.1 horsepower. And the one that's supposed to be in it is 5, so then you're going to run somebody's light bill up. So, unfortunately, you have to pay attention to detail. Damn, that thing's hot too. Probably it's trying to move more air than the duct system can handle. I guess. I don't know. Spinning that wheel too fast. I don't think the rotation changes the RPMs. It's just designed for a bigger wheel and to push and throw more air. Larger system. 8.1 amps. That one's 5. And it says right there, you can read it, also 10 or 20 microfarad capacitor right there in the red. So if it's a 1/2 horsepower, I think the way this is laid out, 1/2 and below, you use a 10. If you need to use it for the 3/4 horsepower, you put a 20 on it. Is that old style. They may still use this in some units. I don't know. This belly band or the bracket that Train used to hold these motors. They're always fun to deal with. So let's get that one's going to use a 20 microfarad, a 15, the new motor. So I'm going to change this capacitor. So there's our 15. Get it mounted, and we'll get this thing apart and get the new motor in there. Alright. These come apart pretty simple. It's just when you're putting this belly band back together, you have to make sure you're lined up all the way around on the holes that you're using when it comes together, so it's in balance. Take the legs off. So that's what I'm talking about right there. You got the holes, so when this thing squeezes together, they go in a certain hole. So you got to make sure they match all the way around, or this thing will be out of center and out of balance. And then it just comes apart. And that's it. So we have to put our rubber pads, fittings, whatever you call those things. Mounting rings is what's on the sticker. So that'll grab it and fit around it. The universal motors already come with them on there somewhat. But the actual train rings are the proper ones to sit inside that. When it tightens, it grabs that rubber and grips it and holds it so that motor stays firm. So that's how that works. And then it fits over the top of it. One more time. I want to make sure my wires are not tucking in behind one of these brackets so they don't get cut. There we go. And that one just simply slides inside. And then you just have to push down and tighten and count the holes so that you know you're in the right spot on all three sides. So we'll do this one first. And that looks like that might have been one of the original holes right there. Do the same thing over here. And by the time you get all three tight, this thing will be clamped around this motor pretty good. Let's check. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we're all in the right place. And that motor is not going to go anywhere. Nice and tight. We'll put our legs back on. And this way. So you'll do the same thing, and you can see where this was originally mounted for the first several years. So that should go right there because it's just cleaner. It's not as rusty. Same thing on this side. And same thing on this side. There. Now let's get it back in the housing. Might have to adjust these. Alright, now which side do my wires need to be on? They need to be over here. So I'm going to leave it right where it's at. And we should be good to go. Get these screws in. Zip tie and zip tie my wires in place. Over here. Tighter. Flip it over, tighten the hub. Center where it needs to be, and the side. I want to make sure I'm centered properly inside the housing. And we'll snug that down. Obviously, you want to make sure it's not scrubbing anything. And we'll go ahead and tighten her up. Alright, let's get it back in there and get it turned on. Actually, before I slide it in there, let me go ahead and at least plug in my capacitor wires. Tricky trying to get those plugged in. Once you get it slid in there, I mean you can, but it's easier to go ahead and do it when you're outside before you put it back in the unit. Okay. A whole lot lighter with that other motor out of there. That thing's heavy. screws down in place. Get the control board back in place. See, these holes is a pain in the ass sometimes. Control board back in place. Wires plugged where they need to be. Neutral. Cooling. Heating. And these are both going to be on park, which are unused speeds. And we got all our wires zip tied up nice and neat. Set of jumpers. And turn it on. And make sure it works. Common. Oh, sounds much better. That other motor there, that's just too big. I mean, it's 1.5 inches longer than that one, and it's 3/4 horsepower. It just had a loud sound. The motor that's supposed to go in this furnace is a 1/3, so I'm not sure how a 3/4 got stuck in there. It may have been whatever they had, I don't know. But the reason the blower came on instantly before I connected my jumpers, I didn't wire the pressure or the temperature limit back, so it's out on a limit. But anyway, guys, that's it. Wrong motor out, right motor in. Appreciate you watching. We'll see you on the next one.